Hey everybody, GameHounds podcast. We're here. Yay! And we've got all three chairs despite the description. We actually have everybody in room.
Wait, description?
In the description, I said that it was just you and me because Nick, I had thought that Nick was going to be away. And then I just found out that Nick is actually going to be here.
Yeah.
So.
I will take note in the future. If I'm going to miss a podcast, do not tell you multiple weeks in advance.
No, you need to tell me multiple weeks in advance. You just need to tell me the right week.
I did. I said on the 27th.
Oh, did you? Oh, I missed that. I missed that. I'm so used to people telling me at the last minute. So
see, that's
not
why.
people, not people.
I've got to wait for the last minute.
Andrew. All right, so let me see, make sure I've got waveforms. Checkity check.
Yes, you did say the 27th. Look at that. Maybe we should fully read Nick's messages. And
yeah,
not just skim over them.
Maybe.
I feel validated.
All right, Nick, say something.
Hello, I am Nick.
Andrew, say something. Fuck you.
Okay, something.
All right, cool. We have waveforms for everybody. That is a good sign. So yeah, we have a actual podcast that came out last week, which is really nice to have finally again.
Apologies. Are you go back to like editing it? I know once upon a time you'd actually go in and edit the podcast and get rid of all the the breaks and just make it sound all really nice and professional.
Yeah, I don't have Pro Tools in order to do that. So, because that's a $30,000 computer program that I don't have access to anymore.
I used to do all that for the Moving Pixels podcast in Audacity.
Yeah, I'm using Audacity. It is challenging, to say the least, to use Audacity after using Pro Tools.
Okay, I was gonna say it works fine. Like it's really good for a free piece of software.
Yeah, for a free piece of software, it does the job. I cannot get fades to go right. I can't. Yeah, I can't like individually tweak. It doesn't do multi-track recording, so I have to record me and Andrew and Nick all in the same track, which means that I can't adjust Nick's volume when it's lower than mine to make it a more balanced, because mine comes in hotter since I'm native and you guys are not. You have to go through the internet and come to me.
Yeah. We would each have to record or stream ourselves and then send you the files.
Right. And that's not the whole 3, 2, 1, that thing. I'm not going to make you do that.
The audio files.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you do that. I have ways of getting Nick and Andrew into my stream using little handy dandy. By the way, if you're a Mac user, Amoeba software, they make something called Loopback. Holy crap, that Loopback has been a lifesaver. Going on now 15 years for me in all the various ways of Loopback. Oh, they make such good software. This little Loopback that creates a virtual machine where I could say, take everything from Google and take everything from my microphone and take everything from here and take everything from there, put it all into one virtual machine, and then you can point your Audacity at that and it brings it all in. It's fabulous.
Yeah, but who uses Mac and Apple products? It's gross.
No one. Ugly people. Terrible.
All audio people, all good audio people do, baby. Sorry.
Horrible people. I do like my new iPad, though.
Hey, I finally updated my phone. Nick, sorry. I have, updated meaning that I took I bought Kevin an iPhone 11 because it was easier for him to use than his old iPhone. He had a 6, not even 6S. He had a 6.
Oh my gosh, 6?
Yeah, I have a 6. I had a 6S. That's what I've been using, and I can no longer access my work software because it's no longer supported. So it was just enough things where it was a problem. So I turned my my old, where is it? No, it's on the other side of the room. My iPhone 6. I swapped Kevin's profile for mine on our two phones. So I now have Kevin's old phone.
So nice. Okay. What is life like without the headphone jack?
So far, nothing. But PAX, if we ever have another in-person PAX where we go to it, that's going to be a little bit more challenging. I'm going to have to figure out what to do for the mic situation.
Or just like keep the 6S and that will be the PAX phone.
Yeah, honestly, now that we're not using Spreaker, it's not that big a deal. Because we're not using Spreaker anymore to record our shows.
But we still need something to connect the microphone to. So we at least need like a jack to convert the...
Right.
Input.
So we can use that phone and just do it as a voice memo, but it's just not going to be, well, I'm going to have to play around with it in loud situations in anticipation of that.
I still have all those other... I still have those other services, Spreaker-esque services that we were looking at the other week. I still have those tabs open.
Oh shit. Really? So, that's how you save shit is on tabs? I gotta look into
tabs open.
There are other services that are out there that I want to look into the possibility of using.
Cast, Mixler, and Anchor were the 3 top ones that I saved.
Okay. So I'm gonna look into those as well. But in the meantime, we have a regular podcast coming out, which makes me happy.
And just know those tabs will be littering my Chrome window for the next 7 years.
This is not.
It's not okay.
Chrome tabs are not a file cabinet. I mean, it's barely acceptable to use Bing tabs, but at least Bing tabs aren't like a GPU just
look
bogging down your computer to have open. You know that, right?
If there are too many,
you know that Chrome is just an absolute vampire as far as your performance.
Absolutely. And if there are too many tabs open, I open another window.
Alrighty then.
Thank you.
I don't want to say Blood Reaper. I mean, no, if you like putting up news on the news channel, like it's good.
Yeah, wait, no, why would you? Yeah, why is he saying he would stop with news because he's a bad person? Oh, because he uses the iPhone. Yeah, that does make him a bad person.
Gotcha.
But
yes,
I use an iPhone and I just got an iPad, so I'm a bad person too. Let's be bad together.
Yes, you two can be bad together.
Awful. I am nothing Apple because they're evil, and I choose not to. Also,
they're not evil. What?
Yeah, you just use Microsoft, which is evil in a different
way. I know. Trust me.
I just got a Google phone because they're not evil.
I have an Android Samsung. All right.
Yeah, because Google is the Pope of tech companies.
Oh, absolutely. Seriously. Yes. When they fart, I smell flowers.
They are the Catholic Church of tech companies.
Actually, yeah, that's closer.
All right. So, shall we start the show, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So
I know I could bookmark the tabs, but I prefer to keep them open, AC Wraith, because who knows when I'll go back there.
Listen, he has all the RAM. He's certainly going to use
it. Do you remember several weeks ago, Edie, you told me about that Japanese show, The Sound of Your Heart?
Yes.
I have a tab of Netflix open in Chrome on The Sound of Your Heart to remind me to watch the show.
Nick, this is not okay. This is really not okay. We need to talk about this. This is a problem.
We need to sit you down and have an interview.
If I close,
do you know how to make bookmarks?
Yes, I just don't look at bookmarks.
It's true. I don't either, to be honest.
Are you kidding? I live by bookmarks. I would share my screen, except it would. I have ongoing bookmarks with files in them, so I can separate them. I have a recipes file. I have a Kevin stuff file. I have my work file. I have different parts of my work files, all up at the top of my browser, right up there that you can't see.
And that's good, healthy living.
It is.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that. I'm just saying I would.
Yes, but when I close, okay. Sorry.
Because obviously I remember the tab is here. That's why it's been open for the past 3 months.
Yeah, it's been months since I mentioned that.
Yeah.
All right. We are moving on because I can't. I cannot. All right. So, oh, that's right. I still haven't figured out the best way to do the music thing. So I am going to go to my essential show tracks. I'm going to play my intro music so I have something to key off of.
We can just do what I do, and that is when you're not here, is just sing it ourselves. We guess.
No, please don't sing it yourselves, because then I have to cut it out when I actually put the music.
I mean, the sad part is though, I couldn't sing it if I wanted to.
No, I can't either, to be honest.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
All right, mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode. What episode is it? Do we know?
632.
632. Thank you.
Yes.
We're recording Sunday, March 20th, 2022. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith.
I crawled out of bed this time.
Yeah, you look great too, but might I say, you look really good.
I do? I don't think I've changed. I think I look a little dark due to bad lighting.
Yeah, what's up with the lighting? Didn't I buy you a light?
Yeah, it's just on the floor and I'm too lazy. I thought natural lighting would do it this time, but it's actually causing more problems than it's worth. Hi, Edie. How's it going, everyone? This is Edie Sellers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe if you got a mirror and put it above you so that the light could come in and reflect off of that more.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, your walls are already pretty white, so they're reflecting a lot of light.
You have two screens, right? You have two screens, right?
Yeah.
All right, take one of your screens and make it white.
Well, I mean, this is
put a white piece of paper in front of your screen. You know why? Because then, like for example, this right here. This is me with a white with a white screen.
I see literally no difference.
Well, I haven't moved it yet.
Oh.
Well, granted, this is me with a dark screen. I have a window right in front of me, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's fine. I just need to put it up on the wall and then put professional lighting. It'll be a whole thing.
No, it's not professional. You don't even need professional lighting.
Wall mounted? Do you have to drill into the?
No. I was too lazy to grab the lamp that works. That's the answer to that's the real answer to this.
Yeah, all you have to do is just put one of your screens, a white blank screen, and then you've got natural light in front of you that's actually soft and diffuse and really good.
But then that limits your whole use of one whole screen. That's just unacceptable.
Do you really need more than one screen to do a show?
Mm.
See, look, already it's slightly better.
I mean, you could. I mean, I didn't change. Actually, I have less lighting now than I did before.
No, there is a difference. I could see it. I mean, you could. It flashes. See, it's dark, light.
Oh yeah, okay, but anyways, we should move on to actual gaming stuff.
No.
That actually makes for better podcasting.
Now that we have the podcast back, let's spend more time talking about camera situations.
All right,
stick around. I want to say, I know I've told you this before, Edie, but the opening to the GameHounds, I know it's about you're too young to be watching this, and that's what the whole mom thing is. But I still think it's you telling somebody you're banging their mom and that they're easily offended because of that.
Should I change it to I'm banging your mom, and if that offends you, you should stop this podcast now?
No, that's just how I've always taken it. And even now, I still hear that where it's if you're easily offended, please stop like watching the podcast now. Also, your mom, because like you're banging your mom.
Oh, and also your mom says take out the trash because
Yeah.
okay.
You're sitting there in bed
I
with her.
see where you get it. I see how you can connect those dots. Yeah.
I never saw it that way, but okay. All right. So how have you both been? How's been your week?
Good.
I made the mistake of doing a day shift when I worked night shift, and that fucked up my entire week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those don't generally mix very well.
I ended up sleeping like 40 hours in the past 4 days. Like,
oh, jeez.
I spent more time sleeping than awake.
And then throw in the daylight savings time that also didn't make things any easier for you.
Actually, no, it did. It gave me 1 less hour of work. So,
oh,
okay,
it's true because you work overnight.
Night shift.
Yeah, we used to have the same thing at the airline. Is that we would get paid for the hour that didn't exist?
Yeah, we do. But then, like on the flip side, we don't get paid for the extra hour we work later.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Same
that
thing.
Pissed off some new people though because they started and they didn't get the 1 hour like prior, and they still didn't get paid for the extra hour they worked.
Oh.
Not sure that's legal, but anyways.
So yeah. What is AC Races? I will totally use those speakers every day, Edie.
Oh, did you get him some speakers?
Did I?
Oh, I think you misinterpreted the light for speakers.
Oh, maybe. He said it's great audio. Did I buy you speakers? I don't remember buying you speakers.
You totally bought him speakers. He bought them from you years ago.
Oh, that's right. Oh, goes, yeah, he says I'm kissing up.
Oh,
You're supposed to be buying me. Okay, I'll buy you speakers. I can do that. So, daylight savings time happened, and they're now trying to make it permanent.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't still make standard time permanent. Like
that's what I want. I want standard time permanent.
Nah,
I want the sun to rise earlier.
This
not
time is better. This time is better time. Make daylight savings time.
Why? Suggest? Like
because it stays lighter later.
No, I want it lighter earlier.
No.
Won't that just change when like it becomes winter again? Like,
right. When it comes to winter, it just it will not. Yeah. No.
So
it doesn't matter. We just all need to move to Zulu, like the entire world.
Zulu time.
Yes.
Okay. That won't mess up anything.
Is that like the internet time, like the Swatch?
It's military time.
Yeah, Zulu time is essentially GMT, and it's what airlines and most, military and everything else use is Zulu.
Yeah, it's just military time. That's what I can use at work. We can use it here.
Yeah, it's GMT without a time switch, essentially, because I think the England does a time switch as well, which is just insane. So, games. I invited Nick to Chivalry 2. He shut me down.
Oh yeah, hard.
Yeah, like rude, like mean. Shut me down.
Oh yeah, that was nasty.
Like,
I kept waiting for your response, but I don't, because I sent you like a dirty joke as a response, and I kept waiting for you to come back with something.
Do I know you? That's what you call the cold shoulder, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Talk about rude. Jeez.
See, she'll message you, you'll respond, and then she won't respond back. She'll disappear into the ether.
Yeah.
Yep.
She'll like, hey, do you guys want to do something? Yeah, totally. We'll help with audio, Edie.
Yeah.
Edie?
Edie? Did you say you needed some help? Hello?
Fuck you. So yeah, Chivalry 2. I jumped back in for the last couple of days. God, it's just fun. It's fun, it's more fun with someone, but it's still fun without someone. It's they have a new DLC that's out, which is kind of cool. It is called, I'm trying to remember. Does anybody remember off the top of their head? It is crap. I forget the name of it. it is the House Aberfell update, and it introduces the Raid of Aberfell, which is a 64-player team objective. Which, honestly, I've been trying to get into the 64-player team objectives, and nobody's playing them, or either that or they're not working. I've been playing the 40, and it's still fun. But I will say this. I don't know if it's me or I don't understand. I still cannot get through the tutorial. I can't make it do. In the tutorial, you have the first tutorial where you change your camera, then you pick up a sword, then you do the 3 kinds of swings that you have, the slash, the poke, and the overhead. Those are your 3 big the only moves you have, really. And then you go practice them, and then you have this guy that you face. And once you're in it, you can't leave it unless, you can't move. And you're supposed to slash the guy before he slashes you. And you do that because you have to actually turn the camera. You're on the PlayStation. You have to move your right joystick is like your hips. So you have to turn into your strikes in order to make them happen quickly. And I cannot figure out how to get it to turn so that I can start to make these attacks happen quickly. And so I never get past that point. And I actually went onto YouTube to research, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I do this?
Yeah, if I remember, the trick was like the sword is in front of you, and so when you start to swing, it usually goes on the camera from right to left.
Right.
So you want to turn into that right, so that when
you turn to the right.
Yeah. So that when you start the swing, and like you pull back to start the swing, the sword is getting to the guy faster because, well, no, you
pull to the right and then you slash to the left. You're supposed to pull to the right. I guess so. I guess that you think about the hips. You want to go right, left.
Yeah, no. So you pull to the right, and then when you swing, you want to turn left.
Yes. Okay. Because I'm trying to turn left because I'm thinking I want to pull my hips. All right. Yeah, I will try that.
Yeah, it's like think about where the sword is in the arc of its swing and how to like make that hit somebody faster.
Got it. So you actually want to turn into the the wind up as well as the swing.
I think maybe.
Okay. I'll try that. That's certainly better than what I've done. But yeah, it's even if you can't play it well, it's still hella fun.
I just want to point out
you just die more.
At the beginning of this video, they were on a beach. There's one person like talking, and I just want that to be a thing where it puts one person at like the head of a group, and they have to like make a speech. Like, that's their job to be like rile up your team and make a speech.
Chivalry is the kind of game that they would fucking do that too, where you have to do, we few, we proud few.
It's already cool because at the beginning of each match, everyone basically starts as a soldier, and you all charge each other. And then when you die, that's when you respawn as your selected class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wildly fun. It's even when you lose, you win. But you spend a lot of time dying. There's a lot of mechanics that if you use those mechanics well, you can absolutely slaughter people. But mastering those mechanics is not easy. Otherwise, everyone would be able to do it. But yeah, crazy fun. Can't recommend it enough. I just think that it's you can play it in either in third person or first person, and yeah, it's still just as good as it was, and I love it. So yeah, that was my one game that I played this week. How about you guys?
I think we both played mostly the same game.
Elden Ring, yes. I'm now at like 80 hours in the game.
Really? Wow.
It's mostly been playing in my like non-sleeping time.
What level are you?
108.
Okay. That makes sense. Because I'm 20 hours in and about level 40.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be like the average.
Okay.
My feelings about this game are complex.
Yeah, we were talking
Right?
about it a little bit on text. I think it has a really rough start. Um, Before I had started playing it, I listened to a lot of podcasts about it, and one of the things people had praised is that the open world allows you to not have to bang your head against bosses. Where, hey, if
Yeah.
you're fighting a boss and it's really tough, you don't have to just keep trying over and over again. You can go off and explore and level up. Well, in the very beginning, you're so squishy, you're so weak that I found I couldn't really go and explore and level up because every place I would explore just killed me. So I didn't know, am I under leveled or am I is this boss just hard? Like I didn't know that. And it took me several hours of going through the first dungeon in the game, like the first big main story dungeon. And basically learning how all of the upgrading system works, upgrading my weapons, upgrading the spirits I can summon, upgrading a lot of stuff, upgrading my health, and realizing like, okay, now I'm at a place where I can survive long enough against most enemies and bosses to tell if I should be here or not. Like the other night, I ran across a boss at night called the Night Cavalryman, and I I held my own against him pretty well for a while, but when he killed me, I realized like I'm not doing enough damage to him. I should avoid fighting him. Then I ran across a boss at night called Deathbird, which may be my favorite boss name. Deathbird lived up to his name and killed me, but I was able to do enough damage. Like each of my attacks did enough damage that I want to go back and fight him. Tonight, I have it in me. Like I want to go kill Deathbird.
And yeah, it definitely has that, like, you get to know, like, am I just bad? Am I not dodging enough to win? Because technically, you could beat every single boss in this game at level 1.
Yeah, sure.
That is within the mechanics.
Somebody can.
But no, like, you have to decide, am I getting one shot? How many moves one shot me? Like, what do I have to pay attention to if I'm getting one shot?
Yeah.
And once you kind of understand that, you know if something's too hard.
Yeah.
Am I doing enough damage that, like, this isn't going to be a 30-minute fight of me having to be perfect to win?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I want to preface this because I'm going to say a lot of negative things, but I give this game a 9 out of 10. Like,
really?
Yes, it has aged like fine wine. The more you play it, the better it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I do think so too. I've found in my time, I've come around to really, really like it. Even if it's just it's a very different experience and different pacing from other Souls-like games, especially the ones from Software, because those games being relatively linear, like they're not really linear, but more so than this game is.
That linear, I can't say that word. The linear nature of the Dark Souls games actually has a lot to do with the design. And because of that, I felt like I was really not vibing with the game when I first started. And I kind of realized later on that is because all of these mechanics are designed for a more linear game. And I think like they work in an open world setting, but you kind of have to, like, I don't think it works initially, at least to me. And a lot of mine are going to be like opinions about the game. I feel like if you like Dark Souls games, this is perfect for you. Like, this will be perfect for you. But yeah, I mean, did you want to add anything else? Because I have like a laundry list of very complex feelings about it.
Okay, sure. I'll just say one of the things that it took me a while to kind of get into the rhythms of the game. The other FromSoft games, because they're much more authored, I felt like my engagement level as I'm going, from on the EKG machine of engagement level, I'm always up really, really high because The levels are always very purposely built, very authored experiences. I'm always going through, very focused on what's going on, what's around every corner. And then at a certain point, I think, okay, it's time for me to grind out souls, to level up, you know? And that's when the engagement drops to like medium. It's not bad. Like I'm still having fun with it, but I'm not like super focused into it. So those games always have like really high engagement with short periodic dips into mid-range when I'm like just trying to level up. This game, because it's so open and there's just a lot of space between everything, there's a lot of downtime. And so that engagement feels like it spends most of its time at the mid-range, where I'm just kind of riding around, exploring, seeing what's in that corner. And then there's little bursts up to the top when I come across a cave that's a little mini dungeon, little bursts up top when I run across a boss at night and all of a sudden have to fight. Then like long extended bursts up top when I get to a story dungeon and want to really delve deep into that. But it's just that opposite type of experience, which isn't bad. It's just a very different pacing from the previous From Software games, which they were always, hey, focus, walk around with your shield up because you never know what's around any corner. And this game is, I'm just going to fucking ride over in that direction and see if something kills me. And yeah, so that took me a little bit to kind of get into the slower, maybe the more extended rhythms of this game.
Yeah, I can kind of agree. That kind of goes into like my feelings of the game too, because my engagement with when I started was like it peaked for like a second and then it fell off really hard, and it's slowly been increasing. But I've reached a point where like I throw a podcast or something up while I'm just running around, and before I start actually exploring a dungeon, I have a podcast up because I don't know. It's okay.
The open world is a good podcast game.
So I initially had a problem with the open world, and it was a general feeling that I couldn't really place, right? And the more I've played, I realized where that feeling came from. In normal open world games, there's something to be said about them feeling with bloat, like useless content. And that doesn't really exist here. But also, the way the story is drip fed to you and the lore is drip fed to you, you can run around in the open world and not see any of it. Like, if you can miss so much in this game. I went back to the first area and I found a string of dungeons that would have leveled me up. That I'm like, I was like 80 and I one shot. Like,
okay, where was it?
Okay, so if you go into the lake area at the very start,
yeah,
and turn left and go up the river, there's like 4 dungeons up that river that are pretty easy.
I think I might have done some of those.
But I missed all of that. I went straight to like the castle because that's where it tells you to go, and it says, "Hey, follow the grace." Mm-hmm. And I knew to the right that there was a dragon in the water, so I was like, "I'm gonna go fight that dragon. I don't need that dragon right now." So I missed everything over there. And I bought this game. Now this is also a problem with me. On TikTok. This game exploded. There was hundreds of clips, and it was like 90% of what I was getting. And I saw a particular build of like a magic samurai, and I was like, all right, this made me buy the game. This is what I want to play. Don't go into the game with like a very specific build. Like if you want to play a magic character, play a magic character. If you want to play a faith build or a strength build, play those builds. But don't lock yourself into a weapon or a particular type of gameplay, because if you're not looking up how to get items or to make that build, you run into a problem where you're exploring the world and you find a bunch of items, and you find really cool items, but you can't use them because you want to play a certain way.
I have run into that absolutely. I started as a samurai, and so he had high dexterity, which let him use the samurai sword.
Yeah,
I'm still using the samurai sword because every new weapon I found has been either a strength-based one or a magic-based one, and I can't use any of them.
Exactly. I was a samurai too, and
I like the samurai sword, and that's what helped learning the upgrade process, because I realized, oh, okay, I can just make this weapon stronger. I don't need to go find a different weapon.
And see, here's my design issue, because I was the same way. I played samurai, and if you're playing samurai, you want to play with a katana, but unless you go look up where to find other stronger katanas, you're stuck with the basic one, which means that you're wearing samurai and you're using the same weapon for the majority of your playthrough. I was 60 hours in, and I had upgraded the katana, but I am still using a katana in my base armor. And what this means...
Really? Still the base armor, too?
Yes. Because armor doesn't really change much. Like, there's helmets that give you, like, little stats, but it doesn't change a lot. And because I did this, the reward structure for exploring in this game is more combat. You explore, you see the environment, and you get an item sometimes, but what you're rewarded with for exploring is cool bosses and cool fights.
Yeah. My reward for beating Deathbird is mainly just beating Deathbird. I want to fight Deathbird because he's a boss that I think I can fight. It's like, what? Why fight Deathbird? Because he's there.
Exactly. And if you're finding combat tedious, if you're being bored by using the same weapons, but you don't want to change because that's what you wanted to build, you're left with no reward structure outside of more combat. There is a story, but it's not like you can go get that story.
Yeah, it's not really told to you in any way. It's just I kind of get a vague sense of that this stuff is going on. Hey, there's a magic lady. Her name started with M, and she's got kids, and her kids are real assholes, and I got to go kill them.
I mean, there are also quests in this game, but like the quests drop lore and stuff, but like in the most vague, like technobabble way, where it's like they say a bunch of shit that you have no idea what it means.
Oh man, it was I found this one lady last night, and she said something along the lines of like, oh, seek out this great passage under the cliffside in the Altus Plateau, and just like rattled off 4 proper nouns in a row. And I had to kind of chuckle to myself, thinking, I don't know what any of those places are, lady. You told me a very specific thing, and it doesn't help at all.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no quest log, so if you run across a place, you kind of have to have written it down or remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I will say they have updated the game since last week, and now if you look at the map, you can see where NPC characters are, which is incredibly helpful.
AC Ray said, streamer I was watching kept getting dex weapons with the strength build. And that's what I mean. Like, you find weapons and you find items, but if you can't use them, that is kind of a null reward. Like, that's kind of a, okay, cool. I'm not going to use that, but cool.
Yeah.
This created an internal problem with me when I first started. In Dark Souls, you have a linear experience. You can go grind levels to beat a boss. Like, that is your progression. If you beat a boss, you've moved on to the next environment, the next stage. That doesn't exist here, so when you beat a boss, it can be kind of beat the boss. Like, so you enter this really weird area at the beginning that if you're having trouble and it's really slow, like, exploring doesn't do it for you. You like beat a boss, but that doesn't feel great because you don't get anything from it that you can use, and you're just struggling. And that's all the game is struggling with no reward. Combine this with the fact that, like, in Ubisoft games, you have the towers and the bandit camps and all that, and that gets boring. I noticed that if you're struggling to kill any bosses, that you make no physical impact in the world of Elden Ring. Like, if you kill everything, you go sit at a campfire, and if you didn't kill a boss, all those enemies are back.
Yeah.
Like, if you kill a boss, but at least you did something permanent. If you killed all the ads, they're all back. You've wasted hours effectively doing nothing other than gaining levels. And if you died twice without gaining your souls back, you did nothing for hours.
That's the rough part. Like, I've played the Souls games enough that if I spend 2 hours just doing that and I get 2 levels out of it, I'm happy because I know I've gotten those 2 levels. But yeah, when you lose the souls, that's when it really hurts.
Because it's open world. You don't really have a structure. Like, you're not trying to beat the next boss in the open.
And I only realized this after the fact. After I beat the first big castle, that freed an NPC to then allow her to upgrade my summons.
Yes.
So if you don't beat that castle, you will never be able to upgrade your summons. So you kind of have to go through these story dungeons in order to unlock mechanics that let you improve your character further. But then I also realized the way the map is structured, the area that you start in kind of feels a little self-contained because the upper right area of it is like there's a big castle and then like a canyon and a bridge is out and it feels like you can't pass it. And then to the left is much more open and you can explore there, but at a certain point you kind of feel like you've hit a wall. But in that upper right area, there's a bridge that's out, there's a big castle, but there's also a path that lets you get past the castle. So there actually is a way to just go around that entire big central story dungeon.
And if you're struggling and then you do that, you don't realize, especially if you don't know you can upgrade your spirits, you've missed a massive mechanic.
Yeah, you don't know how much you've missed. One of the reasons I spent so much time in the opening area, I found a thread on Reddit where some guy was like, here's like all the list of things you can do in each area. And I looked at Limgrave, the opening area, and thought, okay, I want to do as many of these as I can because they're so easy to miss. I have no idea where they are. And even now with the reading that little post kind of explaining, hey, from this bonfire, go north and west and you'll encounter this NPC. I've still not found that NPC.
Oh,
apparently
stuff, and then like I just get distracted, and I spend 4 hours. Like suddenly, I'm in a different part of the world when I was trying to find something in that area.
Yeah, and now that my character is advanced enough and strong enough to survive most fights, I have found exploration to be way more fun. Throughout the game, throughout the world, there are these gates that if you go up and examine them, they'll just teleport you to some random location off in the world. Those are really, really fun. Now that I'm strong enough to survive, it's really fun to throw myself out there into the world and then just realize I am in the middle of someplace really dangerous. I have no idea what to do. Let's see how long I live.
That actually, and what you're describing is what made the game better. Once I reached a point where I wasn't like feeling like I was perpetually underpowered for even the base enemies,
the
game got better. I did crutch pretty hard on a particular item that you get talismans in the game that give you buffs, and one of these talismans, like, it gave me +5 on 4 stats, and then another one gave me like +3 on 4 stats because it was a weaker version, but one was +5 on intelligence stats, like magic stats, and the other one was on like strength stats, and I was using them both. The downside is that you take more damage from using these. So essentially I was playing with like 20 and then 15, so 35 extra levels of stats, and like I just took a shitload of damage though. So like my experience for like 40 levels was one of being a glass cannon. Because
are those the things you found from the pictures, the paintings?
I don't know. I think one of them I got from the Evergoal, which is just this, like, extra dimensional area that you fight a boss in.
Okay, yeah, no idea what that is.
Once you get to a point where you can survive, and once you feel like your character's making actual progress, exploration becomes more fun, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Up until that point, I did not feel like there was a solid reward structure if you were getting tired of combat. If you felt like you were dying and you were frustrated and the combat was tedious, because for how precise the combat is in a Dark Souls game, it's very simple. Your character does very simple things. You have a 4-hit combo, a heavy attack, and in this case, a skill. your bosses that you fight are beautifully animated. They have a 10-hit combo string and then like a 1-second opening for you to hit them. So they do these cool ass moves and you go whack and then you back off. And then they do a 10-hit combo, they breathe fire, and then you whack and you back off. Like, if that gets tedious to you because you don't feel like your whack is doing enough damage, suddenly none of the new combats that you're going to find in the world are going to be fun. Yeah. Suddenly none of the items, because you're stuck to one build, are going to be useful. And there's no story to fall back on to like push through that slog while you're doing it.
And it's hard to tell someone to push through that slog, because to push through that slog is keep killing things and then level your character up. It's like, keep doing that thing that you don't like doing, because then eventually you might like doing it.
And you kind of do. And initially, like, everyone was praising the graphics. I personally felt like the graphics, you can feel like they're old. I think it's a problem with the engine and using the Dark Souls engine.
Really?
But I feel like they're dated overall. But the art direction in this game is so amazing. Like, the best art direction I've ever seen in a game. And it makes up for any, like, older feeling graphics, in my opinion.
Art direction is definitely solid.
Do you think the graphics look good, like, outside of art direction?
Yeah, I think they do. It's a game that I put on the big screen TV and, like, it looks good. Granted, and I think I said this maybe weeks and months ago, like, a lot of games that have come out, I'm playing it on PS5. I'm sure if I put the PS5 and PS4 versions side by side, I'd see a difference, but I don't know if I can see a difference now. The PS5 has a performance mode and a graphics mode. I'm playing on performance mode, which locks it in at 60 frames per second, because when I switch back and forth to graphics mode, it doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
And part of this, I think, is like yes, the engine is holding it back, but for other games too, like Unreal Engine 5 still isn't really, games that use Unreal Engine 5 haven't actually come out yet. So the next gen engine is not out, even though the next gen consoles have been out for almost 2 years. And a lot of games now kind of just look like slightly prettier versions of last gen games. And they run at 60 frames per second.
See, I'm playing on PC, and I have everything set to max, and it caps you at 60 frames in this game. Like, that's just what you're at. You can't increase that. My issues with the graphics aren't that necessarily they're bad. They just feel like, you remember when Fallout 4 came out, and like, it looked fine, but like, it felt like you could see the aging of the creation engine that was used from like Oblivion and like everything since then. That's how I feel. I feel like this is the Dark Souls engine that they've been using for 10 years, and you're seeing the limitations of it. The difference being that like the art direction is amazing, and like they make beautiful landscapes. And again, that's where exploration starts to become really good, is when you can survive and you can go see all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a lot of issues with it, but honestly, 9 out of 10, because it gets better with age. Like, the more you play it, the better it gets. The stronger you get, the more less like everything's going to one-shot you, and that you can actually explore and have fun with it.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's difficult because it doesn't feel like you can engage with the game in the ways that it wants you to engage with it. But then when you get stronger, you can engage with it in those ways. Mainly combat. Like you said, it's a combat-focused game. Everything revolves around combat. Your reward for defeating a boss is, hey, you go fight another boss.
Yeah.
Get stronger and then go fight that other boss that killed you an hour ago.
Right.
And so if you can't get into that loop of combat, then there's no game for you. But once you find your way into that loop, it's like trying to jump on a moving sidewalk or a treadmill that's already going.
And again, this isn't necessarily like a get good moment. As Samurai, I felt like a lot of the bosses people were struggling with were easier because Samurai's just an easier class. So I wasn't having the frustration of dying over and over again. It's more of just like, it feels from a design point wrong as you're playing. Like, it feels like you're making no progress early on until you are.
Yeah. I felt that way too. My specific issue was with the knights in the Stormvale Castle.
Yes.
So Stormvale Castle is the first big dungeon. It's filled with these knight enemies who are strong and fast and just fuck you up. And there are multiple of them as you explore. And so at first I put in the effort like, hey, I've played these games before. I know what I'm doing. I can do this. I'm gonna learn their move set and I'm gonna get better and fight them. Never worked. They killed me every single time. Eventually my solution was I'm going to sneak past them, get to like the bonfire past them, and eventually get my way to the boss, defeat the boss, and just leave Stormvale Castle behind and not have to deal with those damn knights ever again.
They were my first like big roadblock too, because like I felt like, oh man, I need to get stronger to deal with these. Those knights suck, man.
Yes, they do. Oh God.
One thing I noticed though is like you go through an area once and like you do the things there, and then once you've done that and you've explored, you just sprint by everything. Like the way the game is so open that I don't need to fight these again. I'm just gonna run.
Once you know what's past them, then you realize, oh, okay, if I run past you, there's nothing behind you, so I'm just free. So I'm just gonna gallop past this guy and like not worry about it. But
so can I point something out?
Okay.
You have been fanboying about this for going on now 20 minutes. Our number one fan, AC Race, our link bitch, who listens to every word we say and remembers it all, he's left to go make lunch.
Well, yeah,
he
because
just messaged me going, yeah, I'm going, while they're fanboying, I'm just going to go make a meal. It's like, Rao, you've actually sent our number one fan away.
Yeah, because we've been talking about the same game, so we don't need him to do the links. I also don't think we're fanboying. I think we're providing pretty legitimate, balanced criticism.
I think you're making legitimate, balanced criticism of it. I agree, but it's the same.
One last design criticism I have.
Okay? Please.
You can respec in this game. There is a way to like take all of your runes and like respec them and remake your character. The way this game is designed, I missed this boss, which is a main boss, for 60 hours. It is technically the second one you can fight as far as main boss. Technically it's the first, but like it's supposed to be the second one you fight. I missed it because I didn't find the key to get into the castle. In my opinion, the way this game is designed, you should be able to respec earlier. That is a core mechanic of the game that you should be able to find easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the obtuseness of things that the Souls series is known for hits different when it's in an open world that is stretched so far apart, as opposed to more linear, like, hey, everything is in a tiny map area, like the Souls games. In those games, it feels easier to run across something by accident because there's just less space that you're running around in.
Yeah, and like that's one of the issues I don't think translate well to open world. One last thing, actually, because I said this is the second last thing.
Okay, I'll have something to say too. To end it.
Something I think would have made the open world immersion better is if enemies fought each other. If they like were different.
They do sometimes.
Sometimes, but mostly it's scripted. For instance, I was fighting a knight and I ran over and I found some skeletons. There is no reason the knight should be friends with the skeletons. In fact, they should fight each other, but instead they high-fived and beat my ass. And when I was dead, they just wandered off. They didn't engage each other. They didn't do anything. They were like, teamwork. Beat that tarnished.
So like the Fallout mechanic where things encounter each other and fight each other, so you could just sit there and watch them fight each other for a while and then go clean up.
For an open world, I think that would be more immersive.
Because it was cool. There was one moment where I
Borderlands does that too.
a bunch of knights fighting ghosts. And if you go further down that path, this ghost giant spawns. So what I ended up doing is, as soon as the fight started, I rode all the way down, made the giant spawn, ran all the way back, and is this like, hey, all you knights, now you get to fight a giant and some ghosts. Fuck you. I'm just going to sit here and watch what happens.
And that's a scripted event, whereas like that should happen more organically.
Yeah.
Like that should just be a thing that does not happen as often as it should.
Why is the land octopus not fighting Deathbird? Deathbird spawned right next to the land octopus.
I pulled a giant over to tentacle octopus thing, and I was like, oh, they're not enemies. One's a wild beast. One's like of the night faction. They both were like, you fucked, boy. And then I just had to dodge both of them after that.
Okay. Quick aside, have you found, is there an easy way to kill those goddamn land octopuses?
Yes, you stab them in the face. You fight their beak.
Okay, because I'm sitting behind them on the horse, just whack, 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 whack. And because they turn so slow, I'm just on my horse, keeping myself at their back, whack, whack, whack.
See, that's the opposite. You have to fight their face.
But there's tentacles in their face. There's a lot of tentacles in their face.
You can cut their tentacles off. They literally come off.
Really?
Yes.
How do you do that?
You hit them. As is all like puzzles in this game. You hit it.
What's the answer? You hit it.
No, there was this glowing thing in the middle of the lake that I didn't understand, and I looked it up, and they're like, you hit it. So I hit it.
Yeah, and you hit everything. Okay. I'll try that next time I see one.
All right.
But what I want to say is, I had seen this game compared, at least initially, to Breath of the Wild, in that it's a big open world with a map that does not put icons on it for you, like most other open world games do. And it is like that. But what I have found, what has pulled me further into this game, and what I always chafed at with Breath of the Wild, is that Breath of the Wild made getting from point A to point B a god-awful pain in the ass. And in this game, when you get the ability to summon the horse, you can summon him at any time. He's got a double jump, which makes it easy to get up to places, but also down to places, because you can jump off a cliff, fall 300 feet, and as long as you double jump an inch off the ground, then when you land, you won't get that 300-foot fall damage.
Results may vary.
You have to time it right. The timing is very important. But then the fast travel system, where whenever you discover the sites of Lost Grace, which are this game's equivalent of the bonfire, you can fast travel to any one that you have found. It's incredibly easy. It loads fast. It doesn't restrict you in any way. So if you want to go back to that bonfire right before a boss fight, you can do that. You want to go back to the site of Lost Grace right in the middle of Stormvale Castle surrounded by asshole knights, I can do that. And that ease with which you can get around the world makes it so much more engaging moment to moment, because in Breath of the Wild, I got to a point where I don't want to go someplace because it's such a pain. But in this game, I know if I'm exploring someplace new, the moment I find that site of Lost Grace, I have planted a flag somewhere that makes it very easy to come back here at any point.
And I have to admit, that is really good. That feels good from a design standpoint. Like, yeah, it does feel good to not lose your progress if you find that. If you run really far into an area that you can't fight and you find a grace, you're like, oh, I can always come back to this.
Yeah. Point. You're like, okay, well, I'm bailing out of here, but you know what? I'll be back.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think there's a lot devs can learn from this game with open world. I do think there needs to, it does seem like exploration, if you're making an open world, needs to be at the forefront and maybe a little less hand holding with all the icons. I don't think what they do here is perfect or necessarily what all games need to do, but I do think we've reached a point where in gaming, open worlds are kind of too cluttered, and you just need to let the player explore the world.
Also, can I just say, it's okay for you not to make an open world game, right? Like,
Yeah.
March had Dying Light, Horizon, and Elden Ring, like 3 fucking gigantic open world games. You don't have to do that. It's okay to not make an open world game. Like, for God's sake.
Yes.
Give players a break.
Yeah. 9 out of 10. I am really enjoying it. It's something that I think gets better the more you play. Yeah, I recommend if you like this kind of game. If you're not into Dark Souls games, you're not into them. This is essentially Dark Souls for the open world.
Yeah.
News related item to this game that I don't want to really bring up in news because it's more like just juicy gossip. The people who made Horizon Zero Dawn and Ubisoft developers had a Twitter kerfuffle about this game. They were like, this game was getting 10 out of 10s. And they're like, wow, you must really like games where that have poor graphics or like really shitty quest design. Other devs were saying this in tweets. Like the people who made Horizon Zero Dawn.
I think they got raked over Twitter by
oh
fans.
my.
But the thing is, this game, the hype around it is big enough that I think it has reached a level of mainstream gaming that the Souls series has not seen previously, which means there's a lot of people who have never played a Souls game before who are going to pick up Elden Ring and go rightfully, what the fuck is this shit? Because that's a lot of what this game is. It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit that it doesn't tell you. A lot of the reason why I got over the initial hump is because I know what the upgrade process is for weapons and things from playing Dark Souls games. If I came into this without any of that previous knowledge, I fully understand someone thinking, why is there no mini-map? Why is there no quest log? What is this bullshit? This sucks.
Okay. So this was a fan's response if they made a UI based off of a Ubisoft game for Elden Ring. This is what it would look like.
Which also is not wrong.
Yeah, true.
Because they were like, oh, this I guess if you like games with shitty UI designs, and this is what fans got back with.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, Edie. I mean, we start talking once and we get we get pushed out. I see.
I mean, I could nerd out and ask him about like all sorts of things because
let's not.
I'm about to fight that second bot of that second dungeon, the Raya Lucaria.
Yeah.
I'm in that area.
80 hours later.
I found the map at the gate that's like, hey, go here for the key. And I'm kind of just exploring that valley on my way to the key.
Oh, that explains it. I never looked at the map. That's why I never found the key.
How? But you pick up the map and it's like, the description of the map says like a proposed meeting location.
Oh, because I was getting hit when I picked it up. And then I forgot about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you guys done? Can we move on to the news? That would be great.
You see that one boss in that one dungeon?
Fuck you guys. Come on. All right. We're done. We're done.
I just got an invitation to Volcano Manor. I'm looking forward to finding that.
Come on. Can we please move on? I mean, I'm interested in Elden Ring. All right. I am.
If you want me to stream sometime, Edie, I can stream.
Yes, I would love for you to stream sometime. Stream on Twitch. Because if we're going to talk about Elden Ring that much, I would really love to be able to use our own footage for the background rather than other people's.
Okay. I'll talk to you about
Nick, that goes for you too. You know, you have access to all that stuff. All you have to do is hit the fucking button.
I mean, if Nick talk on
I also don't think I downloaded Twitch for PlayStation, so I would have to do that.
Second game, played Back 4 Blood again.
Okay.
If you guys ever want to play that, let me know. Like when you guys were asking me,
I love Back for Blood. I don't know why we stopped playing it.
I could never get on, and I just don't think we ever met up for it.
Yeah,
Like,
it was okay.
It's just a fun game. Like, I don't know. I enjoy the cards and stuff like that, but if you guys ever want to play again, let me know.
Okay. I will.
There's a new patch for Elden Ring and rumors about DLC in the news. Thank you, Vast Ravana.
Don't worry, we'll talk about more. I mean, to be fair, the whole news cycle has been like 85% Elden Ring lately.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So, yes, let's wait for it. Now, see, I'm not ready. After all that complaining and kvetching,
After
I'm
all
not
that,
ready
come
for
on,
that.
Edie. You know this just opens the door for us to talk more about Elden Ring.
All right, let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with gamer Edie, Nick DiNicola, and Andrew Smith. And our first item is
this seems like comeuppance.
So there's some Elden Ring news. Apparently there were nerfs in DLC.
Oh my god.
I mean, I did see news about a patch that nerfed some builds that people really liked, and people got upset about that because they do whenever things get nerfed. But in non-Elden Ring news, in what feels like comeuppance, the Overwatch League is just a couple months away from starting its new season and currently has 0 sponsors.
No sponsors.
That says a lot when no one wants to associate their brand.
Yeah. I hear Artisan Builds might be a sponsor. No, just kidding. Yeah.
Considering I mean, this is twofold. Overwatch kind of died off, and the league never took off to begin with, and like now there's no incentive to like team up with Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gives a little bit of insight into the situation that Activision was facing had they not sold. They were facing financial crisis. That their modus operandi, their business as usual was not going to be as usual because nobody wants to touch them.
I think sold is not the right word here. Hostily taken over is more accurate. Like,
no, there's no hostile. They're handing it over. They are handing it over because they know they cannot keep it anymore.
They saw a pirate ship on the horizon and they were like,
take us
over here, come here, take us. Right. We got so much money. All right, you got this. Let's bail.
It's the difference between somebody stealing your car and you wrecking your car and it costing too much to fix if it ever can be, and somebody goes, I'll take it off your hands.
The only reason I say it's a hostile takeover is because they did so much damage to their stock price that it put Activision Blizzard into an area that they could be bought.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If they had not been friendly taken over by Microsoft,
they would have been hostily
taken over.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Absolutely true. So yeah. I mean, I'm kind of curious to know what their player base is going to look like. Do you think players are going to avoid Overwatch because of the Activision issue? Maybe. I mean, obviously the bottom line is affected, but is it going to affect actual gameplay?
I think that the people who are still playing Overwatch now will play Overwatch next. Like, that's not going to change. Overwatch is one of those games that I feel like it hasn't died. It still has a player base, but it is hardcore people who are playing it now. I don't know if sales are like still picking up for Overwatch at this point, because I just don't. When it came out, it was all over media and stuff like that.
Right, there's so many better games that are, I still see a lot of people joining in on Apex Legends. It's still going quite strong.
I'd be really curious to see how Overwatch stacks up against the Riot game.
League?
No,
Valorant?
the other one.
Valorant?
Yeah, Valorant. Because Valorant to me always struck me as like a niche gamer popular a popular multiplayer game within the gaming community, where something like Apex or PUBG or Fortnite really broke out into the mainstream. And I'm curious what Overwatch's numbers are, because I know they were big initially, but yes, like you said, it's really faded over time. And I don't know if they can pop those numbers back up.
Well, I think they have a chance. They're coming out with a beta to try out the competitive multiplayer. It will have a single player experience as well, but not in the beta on April 26th. That'll be the time to reinvigorate the player base and to remind people why this game is fun. And if they fuck it up, I think it'll have long-term ramifications for Overwatch. I don't think it will be as popular when it launches if this beta sucks.
I feel like it was also a mistake. I have a friend who used to play a fair amount of Overwatch, but when they announced Overwatch 2, they stopped updating Overwatch 1. And so it became a live service game that basically spent 2 years without an update.
Mostly just cosmetics. Like, that's always been the issue. Like, they come out with new characters incredibly slowly. Like, they have maybe added a half a dozen characters over the course of its lifespan. Take something like League of Legends, you have a new character every month.
Right.
2 weeks. Like, you need more.
And even so, you have enough people that aren't playing Overwatch, because I know Piss doesn't play Overwatch, but this was his reaction in the chat room. Whoop whoop. When he heard that news. There's a lot of people that are actively rooting for the failure of Overwatch simply because of Activision, and that didn't exist prior to the scandals.
Not just Activision, but the developer itself, Blizzard.
Right?
Like,
it's kind of funny because we've talked over the years about how Blizzard was toasting its like player trust and its user base. Like, it's just been eroding it constantly over time, and then this came out like, no, it's not recovering after this. I just don't think it'll ever be the Blizzard that people knew that made Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Not that one. That's BioWare. My bad.
Yeah. Warcraft, StarCraft.
The first Diablo 2. That's it. I said the complete wrong game. But like BioWare did the same thing after it bought EA. It's been eroding its players' trust over years.
Yes, it's true. But basically, if you're a developer, don't start your name with B. It's bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My first item.
I will say,
yeah.
In the chat, AC Wraith thankfully did a player count tracker, and it looks like Overwatch has about 4 times as many players as Valorant, which
makes sense.
Surprised me, but yeah, it's still doing okay, still hanging in there.
Okay, so yeah, my first item is, let me put this on pause. I've got so many things up and going right now. Let's see. Let me check my notes. Everything is all messed up on my desktop. Let's talk about EA Play. EA Play was announced that there will be no EA Play. Normally that is the big EA thing that they do right around E3 time. They're not doing it this year.
Speaking of eroding fans' trust.
Yeah.
I think after the disastrous launch of Battlefield 2042,
so they're basically skipping E3.
Are basically skipping E3. So that means we're not going to get any information on Dragon Age 4 or Skate 4 or any of the announcements that they've made previously. No updates. They've said, quote, "We love EA Play Live as it's our way of connecting with our players and sharing what's new with all of you. However, this year things aren't lining up to show you everything on one date. We have exciting things happening at our world-class studios, and this year we'll reveal more about these projects when the time is right for each of them. We look forward to spending time with you throughout the year." So it looks like it's just going to be game by game rather than a big day.
I can kind of believe that because I don't think they really have anything. None of those games anyone mentioned are coming out this year.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the pipeline to show. I think Battlefield 2042 was meant to be its big showstopper this year. And
some sort of
the show.
Some sort of DLC for that. But I think Skate 4 maybe started development probably a month ago. Dragon Age 4, I don't think it even really exists.
I think it exists.
wait,
I think it exists. They've been hinting that the Jedi Fallen Order a reveal is going to be the sequel. They're going to have a reveal about it in May. So
that is EA. Okay. Yeah, see, look, they've got a Star Wars game that people like. They've got one game that people are looking forward to.
I mean, the Star Wars Fallen Order is actually a really fun game. You guys never played it?
I did. It was fine.
That's all right.
I remember listening to the podcast when you talked about it, Nick, and you were like, at the very beginning, I don't know, people just land and stuff starts happening. And the thing that you missed back then was like at the very beginning of the game when you're falling and you first use your force powers, there's a security drone that flies by. And that's why they show up on the planet.
Oh, okay. Is it?
And it's supposed to be a subtle hint that, like, this is a police state. Everyone, everywhere, even on a junk planet, are constantly monitored.
Yeah, it could have done a lot more to flesh that out.
But yeah, no, and by the way, AC Wraith was saying that he missed a 0 on Valorant. Valorant is way higher than Overwatch as far as player base.
Oh, wait, Valorant beats Overwatch.
Yes.
I thought he said, he said Overwatch is roughly 4 times as many players.
Overwatch has about 7 million active players, whereas Valorant has 13 million.
Okay, so Overwatch has definitely, its shine has worn off a lot.
Again, it's not dead. 7 million active players is a lot.
It's still a lot of players.
Yeah.
But it's just lost its
almost as much as GameHounds listeners.
But when something like Valorant, which is popular, but I remember when Overwatch came out, I felt like it was a bit more mainstream. Valorant always struck me as like one of those games that is really popular, but you don't hear a lot about it.
I think it's like CSGO. CSGO is super popular. It just has a tighter co-op or tighter competitive scene than Overwatch does.
Yeah.
Like any competitive game that can allow one player to really shine, I think is going to draw in more people just because of that skill, right? Like you have one person who can ace a team, everyone's going to want to be that person.
Yeah.
Where Overwatch is a team-based game where if one person is dragging their ass, you lose.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Anyways, EA Play. I'm honestly like, there's a lot of stuff from EA that I want to see. Again, like you were saying, Dragon Age, I want to see Sims 5, but I'm not really excited about them.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, and it's more of like, prove it to me. I'm really excited for the Dead Space remake, but I'm also like, prove to me that you're not making something bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Prove to me I should care.
If anyone's curious, I'm going to look up the player count for Battlefield. Like, how bad has it gotten?
Oh.
Share that screen. I want to see this.
It's probably really bad.
Oh, man. That's a surprising 30-day average, actually. Share screen. Steam charts. There it is. Okay, allow. This is currently... Oh, that's because I was reading the wrong thing. The top being played Battlefield right now is Battlefield 5 with 3,200 concurrent players and then 10,000 on 30-day average. Battlefield 2042 is actually not even the second most played game. There's Battlefield 1.
Oh, wow.
Battlefield is currently playing, like more people are currently playing than its 30-day average.
Oh my God.
Is
that 2,154 is the 30-day average?
There's more concurrent players right now by 40 on Battlefield 4, a near decade-old game, than Battlefield 2042.
Is that Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 5?
Battlefield 4.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
More current players than Battlefield 2042. This just has more.
Oh, my God.
It's so bad, guys.
Wow. Battlefield Bad Company 2 has 10% of what's happening
against their brand game.
Against their brand new game.
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
it's so sad because every now and then I think about the fun that I had with Battlefield 5, And I think
scroll down for a second. Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam has 1 player right now. That guy is running around the whole game.
But no, I mean,
that is a lonely man.
That's very, very lonely.
He's the equivalent of like those Japanese soldiers that still think World War II is going on.
Maybe he is. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, it is Vietnam. It could be.
They got plants and stuff. Like, oh, there's people here.
He's hiding in a bush, just like, I'm gonna ambush someone when they come by.
As soon as this guy comes by, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Good memories of that game. But no, I mean, you have to imagine that the people in the studio are sweating about these numbers. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's bad. Like, this isn't only their numbers. They have consoles, of course. They have like EA Play or like Origins, but this gives you an idea of what it looks like. I mean, 50,000 people when it first launched bought this game at least.
Yeah,
I remember it set records.
No,
5 months later.
We were very excited about it. Nick, you and I were very excited about this.
We were excited, but then I played the beta, and the beta was the first sign that this is a little iffy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm glad you did, because I would have bought it.
That was a bit of a tangent. Oh, I was about to pre-order it. Yeah.
But yeah. I think they have a roadmap to make things better. They're not completely, but they're redesigning some of the maps themselves, lowering the player count. I think they're doing good things, but I miss Battlefield. Maybe I'll go install Battlefield 5 again to try to get some of that back.
It's the 10,000 player count on average.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. Battlefields have always started rough. Almost every single Battlefield comes out in a very poor state.
It's arguable. I found the past couple ones, I was enjoying them. As someone who generally doesn't play multiplayer games and just kind of plays for casual fun, I didn't have any significant issues with them around launch.
Okay, fair enough. I know Battlefield 4 was trash. Like, that game was horrible when it first came out. And they did a lot to improve it and make it better. I just think they missed the mark with this, and people got fired for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, EA, good job, EA.
Yep. So, next item.
More sexual harassment news. You
can never have enough.
Oh my God.
Ori is being accused of an oppressive and sexist workplace. Now, this is straight from Kotaku, who is quoting a different article from VentureBeat. But essentially, so I'm going to paraphrase most of the article here.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like it's overt, like sexism in the way that we've been hearing about Blizzard or Ubisoft. What it is it was a open door policy to say whatever you want, and then you just had shitty people saying shitty things in a group chat. Basically, they're like, we're not going to fire you for anything you say. So it wasn't overtly them like shitting on women, but like a guy in a group chat being like, oh God, I could really use a woman right now. Like stuff like that, kind of non-professionalism due to them opening the door for like a say whatever you want, like group chat. And it made for an environment of kind of bullying and like tearing people down without being punished for it.
Right.
Arguably pretty bad. Like, just be fucking professional. Have a studio and have it run professionally. But arguably, I think, a little less worse than some of the terrible shit we've been seeing lately.
The question is, what did the management do about any of it?
They said that they don't want to stifle people's voices, but it needs work. God. Like they hear the problem and they're going to try to work on it, try to like cut it down in the work chat, but they still want like people to be as open about whatever they want to be to promote a environment of
like preventing people. There's a difference between
We don't want to offend the Nazis. We just don't want to.
Between being free to voice your opinion and being an asshole. Those are not two sides of the same coin. You can give people, the power to say what they want and then still punish them for being assholes without contradicting, letting them say what they want. Like you can't have it both ways.
I'm just going to quote the paragraph of one of the lead devs' responses. We don't believe the experience just by VentureBeat's questions are representative more than 80 Moon Studio team members who are thriving and doing great work, nor do we believe they representative of the experience of former members of our team. Mahler said, Coral wrote in a statement to VentureBeat, we are not perfect, but we deeply care about our talent, are consistently working hard to improve. If we have ever made anyone feel uncomfortable or let down, we regret that, and we will always strive to do better. So, yeah, they know.
They know. I don't think they care.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
It doesn't help that it followed up with that same person wanting their next game to have a darker tone and really wanted the origin story of the character to revolve around them being raped. And that it took weeks of fighting to get him to back off of that idea. Because he was like, the person's going to, I should probably tone that down just because of YouTube. But yeah, the R word. And that it would lead to the badass things that they do next. It's like the whole studio was just arguing with him and this is a terrible idea. And it took weeks for him to back off the idea.
So, okay. Isn't Moon Studios owned by Microsoft?
Yes. They have no comment as of yet.
Yeah. Okay. So clearly Microsoft's going to clean up Activision Blizzard.
Okay. This R scene would supposedly create the motivation for the sweet small town character to do the badass things that they do for the rest of the game. And I just think you have a really poor understanding of what that does to a person, and it doesn't lead them to do badass things. It leads them to be traumatized. And
it's just the old notion, the old rape revenge genre. Yeah. But there's a reason that those movies kind of peaked in the 70s, 80s. That time.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently
there's a reason people don't do it much anymore.
And it reportedly eventually he backed down, but only after weeks of arguments. That's not great.
It's not great. Not great at all. All right. Andrew, I just sent you a message in private chat. We should check something.
They don't.
What?
It's
does Microsoft own them?
Yeah. Pissed says, I don't think Microsoft owns Moon. They just worked closely with them. And he's gonna check.
So update. Actually, wait, you talk. Let me read this. This is interesting.
And Andrew is checking his to make sure that he is on the right microphone, because every time you put your arm down on your desk, you get this big old burnt bass sound. And so it's no, Andrew.
I'll just stop hitting my desk. Let's go with that.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure, because I'm listening to that and I'm hearing it. I'm thinking, is he on his computer mic or is he on actually his headset?
It's a stand mic.
Oh, it's a stand mic. Oh, this is why you can't. This is why you have mic booms, so you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Because absolutely they pick stuff up like that.
So, update as of 5 hours ago. Moon Studios is not owned by Microsoft, but worked closely with them on the Ori games. Microsoft, apparently these situations at Moon Studio have existed for a while, and that's why Microsoft passed on publishing their third game.
Oh,
Oh,
all right. So there is repercussions from this.
Yeah, it has now, this coming from Game Rant. It has now been revealed that Microsoft, which served as publisher behind both of the Ori games, was already aware of the situation even before it was brought up to the public.
That's not great.
Yeah, that's definitely not great.
Moon Studios' decision to switch publishers was never explained before, but now it has been reported it has something to do with the recent allegations first reported by GamesBeat.
Got it. It's probably where GamesBeat got its little tip off that there was trouble.
Okay. I take back my dig at Microsoft. Maybe they are okay. They learn of some bad workplace situations and they say we won't work with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, kudos to that.
Kudos to them for that. All right, next item. Nick.
What do I have? Oh yeah. So people know that Russia has invaded Ukraine and was hit with a ton of economic sanctions.
Not enough. You know, by the way, you know who's no longer working in Russia? McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
You know who's still open in Russia?
Burger King?
Burger King, KFC, and Subway. All of them still operating as of yesterday. I've been monitoring the situation very closely.
I know Nestle is I saw not a lot about
Nestle's evil anyway.
Oh yeah.
One person was trying to talk to the CEO and they're like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what the problem is with what's going on. It would affect the bottom line if they pull out.
Yeah, and KFC, I believe they're Yum brand. No, Yum brands are Taco Bell, and what's the other one usually bundled in the same place? Taco Bell. Is it Burger King Taco Bell's?
Taco Bell Pizza.
Taco Bell Pizza. Yeah, Yum brands has pulled out, but KFC is still there, and Subway and Burger King, and all three of them need to leave. They need to leave. Otherwise, everything that other people are doing makes no point. You've got to make Russian people hurt, because the only way we're going to stop this is if Russians say stop, not Americans or anyone else in the world. But anyway, you were saying, in light of these sanctions,
in light of these, Russia has pretty much legalized piracy.
We'll get more into that.
Yes. Basically, Russian firms can use innovations, basically any IP, from unfriendly countries without paying to use that IP. So basically, they're not punishing Russian companies from doing any sort of using IP from any other company in any sort of way. This doesn't specifically mention movie, film, game piracy. But I know Torrent Freak had reported on a proposal from Russia's Ministry of Economic Development regarding this measure. And in that document were some line items, one of which referred to the more specific game media piracy. And so the previous line item of intellectual property relating to businesses and innovations was in fact passed. So if that passed, it stands to reason that the other one probably did as well.
I mean, they don't really have a choice. They're like, if we can't have the original, we'll just stick a sticker on it and call it Russia Light.
Yeah. Oh, you had mentioned, McDonald's pulled out of Burger King, so McDonald's pulled out of Russia. So they basically just had McDonald's version of Russia, which is a cheap, let's take the golden arch M and put it on its side to make a B.
Soon we'll have McDonald's, which is an anime thing. Which is
yes, McDonald's. I was watching an anime show the other day with Deagle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, DEEGLE.
Oh, instead of Google?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, anime off-brands are hilarious.
They are.
Tangentially to this, so we know that the ruble's been falling in price, right? Because all the sanctions in Tarkov, the way they responded to this, because it's a Russian-based game, is they made buying USD dollars, because you could do that in the game, more expensive.
They actually adjusted the price of the ruble inside the game.
Yeah. So 125 rubles per dollar, and now it was up to 175 rubles per dollar. Like
that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of cool.
I think that's hilarious.
All right, so my next item is if you play Fall Guys on PlayStation, good for you. Awesome. But keep in mind, you will need to re-download it because there is a new launcher for Fall Guys coming to PlayStation. So last year, you might have heard in the news that Mediatonic became part of the Epic Games family.
Right.
Right. So that means that they have to change the launcher in order to make it work with Epic Games. I'm not sure of all the details.
Also, I heard that they're doing crossplay.
Right. They want to bring in crossplay.
Okay, that's cool.
But that's not part of what this new launcher will do. It's probably laying the infrastructure. They still don't have the crossplay, but yeah. So here's the deals. If you already have Fall Guys on your PS4 or PS5, you should see the new launcher appear in your library automatically. When you do, you need to simply hit the PS library button to download the new version and then log in to transfer your previous content. Once that's done, then you can delete the old launcher from your files. If you're downloading it new for the first time, by the way, it's going to be available in the PlayStation Store from April 5th. So it hasn't started yet. If you have Fall Guys now, you're going to have to re-download it from that other launcher and then delete the first one. But if you want to buy get Fall Guys, Virgin from the store, April 5th. So yeah, and you're going to see two launchers on the PlayStation Store. One of them is grayed out. The not grayed out one is the one that you want. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's news for you if you're a Fall Guys player, if you have it downloaded somewhere.
And apparently Burger King did pull out of Russian operations last week.
Oh, good. Well, they haven't pulled out completely because I've been watching live streams of Russians talking about how the sanctions are affecting them. And there was a guy walking through the mall and it's like McDonald's, Starbucks closed, Burger King, KFC still open.
Well, I mean, if they pull that late, they might.
Right. They might have a deadline date of when it's going to pull out.
Yeah. But also at a certain point, like they can't stop the person who owns that store in Russia from keeping that store open.
Yes, they can.
No, like that's the point.
And punish them by doing what?
You can suspend their franchise so that they can't use the Burger King logo, and then you can suspend shipments of product so that they can't use Burger King product.
The shipments of product, yes, but if you're a business that's already flaunting IP, then what does it matter? Like Burger King can't actually physically stop.
They don't have can you imagine if they sent like the King's Guard, which is like a private PMC group for Burger King that they own?
the Pinkertons send a Pinkerton gang to shut them down. Shut them down.
No, that's the whole point of what Russia's doing. Russia's basically saying you don't have to stop using the trademark. We're not going to enforce it. Do whatever you want. And if they can find their own way to like source Russian meat.
Oh, AC Wraith even has a link. Burger King Russian partner refuses to shut down.
Yeah. Suddenly the Russian dissidents are going to disappear and Burger King's going to have a lot more product. It's a little dark.
Wow. Wow, Andrew.
Now with more girls.
I mean, they got to get the meat from somewhere.
Yeah. Have a bunch of Russian dissident problem. It works itself out.
Also, AC Wraith says guards in Burger King masks is something out of Elden Ring.
Listen, I just love the idea of them having their own like unit called the King's Guard. Like it would work. I want that.
Yeah. They're all decked out in gold armor.
All right. Well, on tangential to this sort of is that where is it? Bunch of stuff happening with regard to Ukraine and gaming companies. First off, Epic Games did announce that it is the new season of Fortnite is obviously coming. It's launched already. It just launched. Epic is going to be donating all of its proceeds from the first 2 weeks of this new season in Fortnite to Ukraine-related humanitarian efforts. Now, this is not going to be if you spend V-Bucks inside the game, but if you spend money to buy stuff within the game, or if you spend cash to buy V-Bucks, then they are donating all the proceeds from cash transactions, cash proceeds, to Ukraine for the first 2 weeks, which could be an awful lot of money. As part of the effort, Microsoft will also be committing their net proceeds for Fortnite during this time so that they can get more aid to the Ukraine efforts out there. Funds donated to fewer organizations include Direct Relief, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, the United Nations Children's Fund, and the World Food Program. They're also adding more humanitarian NGOs and GOs, mostly NGOs, to they're going to be recipients of this. In addition, we talked about last week that there were bundles going on to help Ukraine. Holy buckets, were they successful. So the first bundle that was created by Necrosoft Games director Brandon Sheffield, and it was available on Twitch.io. I call it Twitch.io. Is it Twitch.io? What everybody else calls it?
I always call it Twitch.io.
Yeah, Twitch.io. That started on March 7th, and it had about 1,000 games in a single massive package, valued at $6,500. They were selling it for $10, and they anticipated raising $100,000. Within 24 hours, they had got $1.5 million. And it ended a couple of days ago with a total of $6,370,557 of just that bundle. Then there was a second humble bundle that was created to help Ukraine, and it was called the Stand with Ukraine bundle. It has 120 pieces of content, and that's valued at $2,500. And that includes Back 4 Blood, Satisfactory, Metro Exodus, Fable Anniversary, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay books, Game Maker Studio Creator 2 for 12-month subscription, Music Maker EDM Edition, RPG Maker stuff. It's huge. And it was, I believe, $40. And so far it has raised $8.9 million. And it's still available for the next 4 more days. Or next few days. I believe it's 4 days actually. So if you're interested in that bundle, it's still available, and it is available on Humble Bundle. And that's a really good bundle.
Yeah,
it's a really good bundle.
And smaller games on it that are solid.
Like which ones?
There's roguelikes like what was it? Wizard of Legend. That's a game I own. Really fun. They have Endless Space 2. That's not really a smaller game, but that's a pretty big one. They have Starbound, which is like a space Terraria. They have a lot of good stuff in there. Stuff that I unfortunately already owned, or I totally would have gotten.
I'm sorry. It's now at 9. That 8.9 million was what it was just when we started broadcasting. It's now up to 9. I guess I can get rid of that. It's at 9,153,000. So it's making a lot of money very quickly.
Yeah. Also stuff like Super Hot, Dear Esther, like a lot of good stuff.
Kerbal Space Program.
I mean, you can get Back 4 Blood, which is
that's already
brand new.
Also, Satisfactory is also a really good game. If you like kind of build your own factory-esque games, definitely worth the bundle if you have.
God, they might have added more to that bundle, because I don't remember. You would think that would be mentioned, that some of these games would be mentioned as above the fold games.
Uh-huh.
And I think that these are probably added after that announcement was made.
I know Skullgirls is pretty good, despite the dev being kind of a shithole.
Yeah, I've heard Tooth and Tail is very good. God, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is way more than 40 pieces. So obviously these have been added since
Well, it was 120 like items. It's not all just game.
There's also books.
Books, Polygon packs, PDF Suite Standard, Music Maker. Yeah. A bunch of people donated $10,000.
3D printable templates.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Really?
templates for 3D printing.
Really?
What seemed like
Oh yeah.
Dungeons
cool.
and Dragons type of miniatures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Baskets, couches, fences.
I gotta use. I've got 2 3D printers downstairs. I really should do something with them.
Send me one. I'll learn how to 3D print.
I mean, you can't learn it. It's you put in a template and hit a button, right?
No. It's a little bit more. It's a lot more than that.
Is
a
it?
lot.
Get out of here with that.
It's not only understanding the template itself and putting it into the right program and getting it rendered properly and sending it out, but also understanding the heat at the, like the programming within the 3D printer, like the tip heat. If it's too high or too low, it can wreck it. Using the right material, using the right plastic material for what you want to do.
Nick was just starting shit. He knows.
It's an art. Okay, you're an asshole.
No, I generally don't know. I don't know anything about 3D printing.
It's complicated.
What is the USB stick found in the grass?
I don't know, but that's a great name.
It's a bit difficult to classify. USB stick found in the grass is a game. It's more of a combination of a literary work and a forensic puzzle. If you liked A Normal Lost Phone or Her Story, you'll probably like this. You're given a virtual representation of a USB stick that was found at the scene of a possible crime, and you play a police officer trying to solve the case with very limited information. You're not given any tools to do so, but you can use any tools you have on your computer. The USB stick found in the grass is not subject to any intrinsic limitations on which the game is built. Quite the opposite. It's as close as to the real thing as possible. The USB drive you'll be investigating is indistinguishable from a real one. The tools you'll be using are real. If something looks like it can be checked, it can be checked. If something can't be checked, it wasn't our intention. It's just simply the result of a built-in technological limitation. If your job is to find out what it's all about, if the stick is in any way related to what has happened, and if anything happened. And remember, sometimes it is a journey that is more important than the destination.
That's cute. So essentially, you have to actually break into a USB and figure out what's going on.
That's freaking genius! Oh my god,
that's awesome.
I am getting this bundle. This bundle.
Yeah, once it mentioned Her Story and A Normal Lost Phone,
which are 2 games you loved.
Yes.
So yeah, you can find this at Humble Bundle. Obviously starts at $40. You can pay what you want, but it is for charity. And it's 100% of it is donated to Ukraine humanitarian relief efforts. So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're looking at 15. I wrote 12 million because that's what it was when I started this show. It is now up to $15 million so far between these 2 bundles that have been raised for Ukraine, on top of Epic. That's excluding the Epic 2 weeks of Epic. So people are turning out. Companies are turning out for this. And rightfully so. AC Ray says, if the USB stick is from a game dev, then it either leaks source code or has porn from minors.
Wow.
That's really bad.
All right. So yeah. Hi. Big thumbs up. Go do that if you want a really good set of games. Goalie is in here. Says, I got to take a poop. Be back. Okay. Goalie, thanks for sharing.
I have one that Edie, you might be excited for. At the very least, it gives me a chance to come into your new addiction. Crusader Kings 3 has been part of Game Pass since it came out, but it's been on the PC side. On the 29th, it's coming to console Game Pass.
Ooh.
So
Well, Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
Yes.
I saw they made a small change in that they changed the name of Kiev to like the different spelling.
To Kiev?
Yeah.
Kiev? Yeah.
Oh, did they? Okay.
That hasn't been updated in the game yet, but it doesn't matter for my game because my game is...
It doesn't exist anymore.
Kiev doesn't exist anymore. It is Fast Food Nation.
I did see also that the Shadow of Chernobyl developer changed the spelling of Chernobyl to reflect the Ukraine spelling.
So my headcanon now is Edie, like, is actually Burger King. What happened was Russia was like, we're not going to take down it. So Edie was like, I'm just going to take over the world as Burger King so no one cannot use, like, my trademark. And
the king was like, no one abuses my trademark.
So cool.
All right, so next item is... I got a couple if you don't
have
them.
I don't have anything else.
Let's see. We were talking about Crusader Kings 3. Oh, let's talk since we're talking about Edie's latest obsessions, Chivalry 2. Chivalry 2, we were talking about it in my game this week was Chivalry 2. It is free right now for you. It is free to download and play this weekend on Epic Games Store. We're talking about for the PC version. And this is to celebrate the release of the House of Aberfell update. The games after the game's free trial, if you like it, it is going to be 33% off the base game price of $39.99. And the special edition retail price of $49.99. So you can take a 33% off of it. And it's available. The Chivalry 2 free weekend is going to run through tomorrow. No. What's today? The 20th? Yeah, tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you have pretty much till tonight. It's the Pacific time. Currently, it is 4 p.m. on the 20th. It's going to run until March 21st at 8 a.m. So you can do the math if you're not the Pacific time. The discount's going to run through the entire free to play weekend. So if you want to buy it now, you can. It is on the Epic, the Game Store, isn't it? It's a Game Store game, right? I mean, Game Pass game, right?
Which one?
Chivalry 2. No, it's not.
No,
it's not. Give it a shot. Go through the tutorial and skip through most of it because it will beat you down. But it's crazy stupid fun. And if you are going to play it tonight, please say something because I am going to play it tonight. Shoot me a message at gamehounds@gmail.com. We'll play together.
I hate that you brought this up because it forced me to open Epic Games, and I scroll down and I just see Fortnite X Naruto Shippuden, and I hate it.
What is it?
Fortnite X Naruto Shippuden.
Oh.
It's like between Naruto and Fortnite, and I hate that you made me see that. Like, that is your fault.
Sorry. All right. Next item. Anybody?
On a side note,
no.
Tiny Tina Wonderlands comes out the 25th. If
yeah.
Interested in that.
I've heard not bad so far. Early.
Really? That's this month?
It's in 5 days. I'm a little upset because I forgot that Epic Game Store had like launch rights. They timed exclusive it to Epic Game Store for the first 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I hate it. I hate that that's a thing.
Can't you just put like a shortcut on your desktop and avoid all that?
It's not the same. And no, you still have to load Epic.
Yeah.
Just have it like running in the background.
Kind of like Steam.
Well, like 30 tabs.
I just don't like Epic Game Store, right? Like, I'd rather just buy it on Steam and be over. Like, be done with it. Down with Epic Game Store.
All right. Let's see. I've got another story. I got a couple one that is not video game specific, but it certainly is nerd culture. So The Boys season 3 is coming out and the trailer dropped, I want to say on Thursday, Friday, but the trailer just recently dropped for season 3.
Very excited.
I'm very excited too. The Boys is so very, very, very good. But it was dropped. It showed up on YouTube, and so far to date, it has been reported as offensive content 20 million times. Yes, you heard that right. Because The Boys is so violent and so off-putting, and it is incredibly bloody, incredibly violent. It's been reported for terms of service, offensive material 20 million times so far. So yeah, everyone is raving pretty much that this trailer is deeply unhinged. And many people are saying, what the fuck did I just watch when they watch the trailer? And in fact, I'm going to post this so that you can see it on the Boys official Twitter page. They had to post about it. It said, flagged for content 20,093,031 times, a record of 603 views by the Boys Twitter admin. We're pretty sure Seth Rogen watched it. Taika Waititi said, fuck yes.
Seth Rogen, the first comment.
And the Seth Rogen did comment, and he wrote, I did.
Yes.
So yeah, they're enjoying it. And if you have not watched The Boys, is it Amazon or is it
Amazon?
It is Amazon. The Boys is almost a reason to get Amazon Prime. It truly is. It's that good.
Honestly, between The Boys and The Expanse, Amazon has a lot of good shows.
I just wish The Wheel of Time was one of them.
I still haven't watched that. I've been meaning to get to that, to check that out.
That's a fanboy problem.
Mm-hmm. Does somebody have a braid that she can continuously yank and be useless?
The braid yanking.
No braid yanking? Well, then it's not really The Wheel of Time then.
What? See, as someone who hasn't read the books, I have no idea what any of this
Are there any ricketous grins? Because there were an awful lot of them in the first three fucking books.
Actually, the series takes off after the first 3 books. You should read it again, Edie. Like the whole point is that a lot of the characters are knowing. And yes, Nick, one of the characters, whenever they're angry, they pull on their braid.
And she spends a lot of time being it's such lazy writing. It's such lazy writing.
Someone counted it, and it was like 50 times that, like, of course, across the series that she pulled her braid.
Mm-hmm. She gets angry and pulls her braid.
Isn't the series like 20 books?
14.
50 times in 14,000 page books is not a lot.
No, it's not 50 times in 14,000 page books.
It was 60 times.
50 times.
Right, but it's not an even distribution. Okay, let's just say. Okay. And like when you mention 3 times within a span of like a single chapter of somebody having a ricketous grin, it's like you're just lazy now. You're not even thinking.
It was 60 times over the course of the whole series of books, but it was 20 times in like one specific book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean,
hence why it became a meme.
Right.
Still though, like aren't these books like 1,000 pages each?
Kind of, but like, like it becomes very apparent. Like it's a thing in books, like more is less or less is more. So like if you don't do it as often, it's not as noticeable. But when you do it 20 times in one book, it becomes very apparent. When it's every chapter that she's in, she's pulling her braid.
I guess like, so.
Okay, I hate this character.
She's pulling her braid and stomping off because she's a weak woman who just is irrational, and she's
That's not actually accurate.
It's lazy. It's lazy. Lazy writing.
I just read things slow enough that it would take me, 6 months to get through those 1,000 pages. So I'm like, oh yeah, she pulled the braid like every month.
I read 3 of the books before I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm sick of the way that he portrays women. Women are either angry or useless.
It does get better slightly.
I know. I've heard it gets better.
See, the Wheel of
I have
Time
also heard that,
like
yeah.
So
there are way better books that I don't have to
Wheel of Time trivia. Apparently
explain away problems.
The first 3 books was his take at redoing the Lord of the Rings like fantasy tropes. Like that was him redoing it in a way that was like, what if a farm boy actually became like the chosen one? What that would mean. And then after the 3rd book, it kind of expands into its own thing outside of that concept of redoing the Lord of the Rings.
Interesting.
So that's its own thing. But since we're talking about books,
thank you for the link, AC Wraith, to how many times does braid tugging and skirt smoothing? Oh, yes, I forgot about the skirt smoothing. Skirt smoothing happen in the Wheel of Time from Tor.com. Thank you so much, AC Wraith. I love you.
So it's no like secret that I'm a Brandon Sanderson fanboy, and you guys should read Stormlight Archive. I know you read Mistborn, and I finally read Mistborn myself, and it is good. I kind of got bored a bit with it, but like it has some of the best payoffs at the end that I've ever seen in a series. If you've read the first 3 books altogether, Edie,
I think I did.
Like the payoffs towards the end are great. Stormlight Archive is way better, and she's gone. She doesn't want to hear me.
Am I?
Oh, it's just loading for me.
No.
Okay.
I think that's you.
You said the Stormlight Archive is the one that's really, really good?
Yes, that's his that's like a seminal work. Like it's his big project. There's 4 books out of it right now. Anyways, Brandon Sanderson did a thing where he posted a YouTube video where he's like, I did something. I've been keeping a secret from you guys, and it's time I come clean. And if you don't know, Brandon Sanderson is very prolific. He puts out a lot of books constantly, like 3 or 4 a year plus novellas. Well, he's like, I did something and I've been keeping it from you, and it's going to change everything. And then in the video, he's like, during the pandemic, he stopped traveling as much because he would travel like 1/3 of his year. What he did with that time is he wrote a novel for his wife, a secret novel. And he ended up liking it so much, he wrote 4 more novels.
Oh my God.
He wrote 5 secret novels that his team didn't even know about. And he just plops them on the desk and starts a Kickstarter for next year. It'll release every 3 months. One of these secret novels will be sent to the people who joined this Kickstarter. I did because
of course you did, because you're a fanboy.
It has broken all Kickstarter records. It is the largest Kickstarter like in history. In the first 3 days, it had $20 million like backed when they were only expecting like 1 to 5 million. Currently, it's at like 30 million, I think. And it has just like destroyed all records for this kind of thing. It is unbelievably hyped right now. Yes. Currently, it's sitting at $31 million with 10 days left. It was a 31-day Kickstarter, and that tells you how quickly that was backed. If anyone's curious, you can, if you back the Kickstarter, you can get it digitally, an audiobook, or you get 4 premium hardcover copies that they will send to you every 3 months. Now dubbed the Year of Sanderson in 2023. If you do the higher tier on top of that, which can range from like $300 to $500, you will also get in the months in between the book drops, like swag bag stuff that's really worth like your time if you're really into that. I only got the 4 premium hardcovers, not the like swag stuff. I want the swag stuff, but I don't have $580 to throw at this, $500 to throw at this. But yes, I just wanted to mention that because that's awesome.
Well, I will be taking my Brandon Sanderson money and I will be putting it into speakers for AC Wraith. How about that?
That's fair. Read Way of Kings, though, Edie. You gave Miss.
I think I did. I don't remember it. That just says something on that.
Or maybe you didn't read it.
No, I know I did because it's on my Amazon. I'm like, I guess I did read it. You know, it says I read it.
Okay, wait, did we get on this because he's a fantasy writer or because he did Wheel of Time?
He did both.
Yeah.
That's both.
Okay.
He didn't do all of
He
them
didn't
this time.
start Wheel of Time. He
Robert
finished.
Jordan did.
Oh, he
Yeah.
finished it.
Right.
Okay.
Robert Jordan is a sexist ass, and then Brandon Sanderson picked it up. And I don't think I ever got to a Sanderson
No,
novel.
they're the last 4 novels, and apparently, like, they're really good.
I imagine you had to, for someone who didn't like the series, you would have to have suffered a lot to get to his books.
And that's like in the slog. There's a slog between like books 6 to 8, 6 to 9 that are rough to get through for most people. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because Brandon Sanderson fanboy, and $30 million is like insane for a Kickstarter.
Yeah. All right. And my last item I've got is Gran Tumersmo 7. If you were waiting for this game and so excited about it, it's getting so much hate, other than the fact that it is mandatory online, which has a lot of people very upset. They say that this is just a cash grab because you have to essentially, in order to get the high-end cars, you have to overbuy the dollars that you need. Like, they come in packs that you have to essentially buy too many dollars in order to buy a 3 million. They have most of the cars run about 3 million coins, or 3 million, whatever their coins are in the game. But their packs, they only sell in 2 million as the biggest. So in order to buy one of those cars, you have to buy a 2 million pack. And the next tier down is 750,000. So you can't get to the 3 million by buying packs. You have to go to 4 or 4.25.
Like 3.5.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah. But
like 4 was my childhood. I got it on the PS2. I played it with my dad and my brother. I, of course, was the best at it because, pro gamer. What up? Anyways. No, I have a soft spot for it in my heart, and it's just really sad to hear that it's basically becoming microtransaction trash.
Yeah, it is microtransaction just trash. And the fact that you cannot play offline, you must be connected to the internet in order to earn any cash. They released a update, 1.07, I think it was, update that on top of everything reduced the amounts that you win from races. So it's even harder now. So it's super grindy if you want to actually earn these high-end cars organically.
It doesn't matter what they do at that point. Like, it doesn't matter how good the game is. It's trash at that point. Like, you've ruined the game by doing shit.
But on top of that, Polyphony Digital, who is the developer, issued that update, and it broke the game. They knew immediately as soon as it launched that they had made a mistake. They released a statement that, well, first off, they took it down for 2 hours because they said they were doing the update. Then they did the update and it was broken. So they're like, okay, it's going to be another 2 hours. And then they came back and said it's going to be 30 hours. Well, 30 hours being unable to play your game because you must be updated, because you must be connected to their servers in order to do it, was a problem. And it was down at least 24 hours of downtime for what was supposed to be a 2-hour update.
If you're going to have online only like games, like, this was always been the problem with it, right? Like, you don't own anything. If the server's shut down, that game's gone. Like, you can't play it offline.
It's not your game. It's you're renting the ability to play it for a while.
Yeah.
For $70.
I'm sorry, Gran Turismo, but you're dead.
Yeah, getting a lot of and I don't even know if it's up yet officially for everybody.
I think it did come.
It did come back, but it's arguable that it is bad that it is online only. It is bad that it has become a cash grab, but it's even worse that when they issue an update that's got a game-breaking bug that knocks people offline for more than a day for a game that they spent $70 on. And this is why online only, it makes sense. Online only makes sense for certain genres of game because it enhances the experience. This is not one of those genres.
Well, I think they just don't want people modding it. Or like, I guess it's PlayStation.
That's what they said. They said it's about cheating. They said it's about DRM.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Right. It's not. It's not. It's about making people buy cash for stuff.
Like, take for instance, Elden Ring. Let's bring that back into the fold.
Yeah, you know what game doesn't have microtransactions?
Elden Ring. But also, Elden Ring is technically always online, but you can play it offline mode. It just limits certain things, like messages and stuff like that.
Right. And that makes sense. But yeah. So yeah, Gran Turismo 7 getting a ton of hate from people right now.
That's too bad.
Yep.
Oh, am I sounding like a robot, guys?
Yeah, you have been a little bit.
My
connection. I don't think I've heard that.
It keeps saying my connection's bad, but I'm not on Wi-Fi, so it like keeps giving me a signal thing. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. Yeah, you've been dropping out.
Is one of the cats chewing on the Ethernet cable?
I hope not.
He knows that is absolutely possible.
They've destroyed 2 of my cords already, so yes, it is possible.
Every time I wrap the Ethernet cable up again, the cats think it's a toy and try to play with it.
Oh, and one more pitch for Chivalry 2 with this new raid of Aberfell that they added. It's got a bunch of new fun stuff with new playable druids, the Highland sword weapon, which you have to play a lot to get, and a bunch of new gameplay mechanics, including stealing pigs and weaponized bees.
Are you playing on Xbox, Edie?
No, PlayStation.
Oof. Okay, so yeah, rough.
You can play it.
Yeah, but it's not a free weekend on PlayStation.
Oh, it's not a free weekend on the PlayStation.
Is it a free weekend on Xbox?
It's a free weekend on PC. For the Epic Game Store.
Apparently there's technically crossplay, but it's like only matchmaking crossplay. It's not friend, like you can't team up with friends across systems.
Right. So yeah, I recommend the game. It's really good. All right. Anything else before we shut down the show, gentlemen?
No. I think this has been a good one. I mean, actually, Nick, so what bosses you've been having the most trouble with lately?
I actually haven't fought a boss in a while. Just hey, that's bullshit. No,
okay, fine. What's that? You think of like?
I can't understand. You keep muting me, so I'm gonna have to keep talking about.
Whoops. Anyways.
Have you fought Deathbird? Did you find
Andrew's removing me from the stream? Where anybody's listening, Andrew just booted me from the stream. Anyway, can we shut this show down, please? Please, can we shut this show down? All right,
shut the show down so we can go play Elden Ring.
So that we can go. I can go play Chivalry. Could you play Chivalry with me tonight, Nick? Please. Come on. Come on. All right. So on that note, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 632. We recorded this on Sunday, March 20th, 2022. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith. If you ever want to get a hold of us, gamehounds.net is our website. Still broken, getting it better. Take some time to get all this stuff sorted out. But you can email us at gamehounds@gmail.com. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. Gotta break that habit. We are no longer on Spreaker. Fuck Spreaker. We record the show live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS, all one word, as in videos. And we are on Facebook and Twitch under The GameHounds. You can find us there to watch us live. You cannot listen to us audio-wise live, but you can listen to us after the fact either by going to any of those platforms if you want to watch the video, or if you want to have it as an audio podcast. We are on iTunes. You can find us on iTunes as GameHounds Podcast. Make sure to look to make that it is GameHounds Podcast under Wizard Media. Thank you, Libsyn, for saving our bacon. You guys are wonderful, and we appreciate it. That show will be available later on this week, probably tomorrow or Tuesday. Nick, Andrew, thank you so much for being on the show. Don't forget, our Twitter is @GameHounds, and you can find us on Facebook under the GameHounds. See you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I waved. Bye.
All right, we are still
broadcasting.
Yeah, we're still on video. I am shutting down the audio stream. Audio stream is now shut down. I am saving it. Save the project. Cancel. I am saving this as.
Okay. So the real question is when are we getting our $100 million Spotify deal? Like, when are you setting that up for us, Edie?
I wish.
I heard like people can get podcasts like that on Spotify if they try hard enough.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take 50 million.
Hey, I mean, I'm only here like 20% of the time, so I'll take 20 million.
All right. Project is now saved. Good. All right. Audio saved. Everything preserved. AC Wraith, black or white? Speakers, do you want black or white? That's all I need to know. And then you're going to have some new speakers because we love you and we appreciate you. And by the way, AC Wraith, all these like notifications, like the links that we have whenever we mention something, stuff like Patreon and
he answered in
Libsyn. I'm sorry. Black will match. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So we will have black. But yeah, he does all of that. He is amazing with finding that. And so thank you, AC Wraith. You are deeply appreciated. And I didn't mention on the podcast, but I do want to mention to you that we are Patreon funded. All of this video that you see here, this is Patreon patrons. Thank you to everyone, no matter how small, no matter how big. Thank you for being a patron. If you want to be a patron, please do so. $1 a month is all we ask. And if you break it down, 4 shows a month usually, we're talking about 25 cents a show for more than 2 hours of content with news and information. And of course, people making fun of Nick and Andrew not being here.
Yes.
Patreon.com/GameHounds.
AC Wraith, you could do better. Speakers for like 4 years of being a link bitch is not livable. I think
it's not a livable wage.
Yeah.
Union, and you can really force Edie to step it up.
You probably could, but so I'm happy to do this.
This is an amazing typo. Why is it fuck spreader?
Why is it fuck Spreaker? Oh, I covered it a couple of episodes ago. Spreaker, we were one of the, among the first podcasts on Spreaker. And when Spreaker started posting to iHeartRadio, we got a special deal because we were probably in the first 20 or 30 shows from Spreaker that was posting to iHeartRadio. Automatically. That entitled us to a special deal that we were, cheap. It was inexpensive for us to be on Spreaker. In fact, they funded most of the cost of being on Spreaker, which was great. And that was a decade ago? This iHeartRadio purchased Spreaker. And then iHeartRadio, for some odd reason, decided to go through their logs to see who's still using it. Since we started, millions of people use Spreaker, but very few people have 10 years worth of shows all archived on Spreaker. So Spreaker sent me a little notice. Actually, I missed the first notice and I missed the second notice. It was only one show when I couldn't broadcast, when I realized that we were 14,000% above our allotment for space based on our...
Talk to them? Like, did you ever try to contact their support and discuss it with them?
Nope, not interested. So it locked us up for a good long time. And I realized, and I looked to see how much it would cost to be able to have the storage space for all of our archived shows, because realistically, most podcasts don't have 10 years worth of shows. And it would have been somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 a year. So I promptly moved up off of Spreaker, went back to Libsyn. Libsyn, it's costing me $5 a month. That's just kind of gives you a sense of what we're talking about. And Libsyn, one of their agents went and got our RSS feed and downloaded everything for me. All I just said is like, we want to migrate back all of our shows. Will it cost us a ton of money? And he's like, no, I'll do it right now. Bink, you're done. You're ready to go. So we went back. So that's why fuck Spreaker. And for a while I was trying to use them. Oh, my headset is getting loose. For a while I was trying to use them even in a small capacity for them to be able to record a show. And it would have cost me something around, like $150 a year to be able to do a show for 2 hours. They limited me to 5 to 45 minutes to be able to do a show. So that's not realistic. So yeah, I'm done with them. And the reason why I'm so angry is not that they did it. What I'm angry about is that there have to have been no more than maybe 5 shows that were still under that grandfathered plan from 10 years ago that are still broadcasting.
Like, it costs them nothing. Like,
it costs them nothing. There weren't that many of us. There couldn't possibly still have shows that were still actively producing shows after 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was just pointless. So it was a stupid, some pencil pusher said, oh, look at all these people who should be paying more. It's like, no, they're not going to get any more money out of me. I'm not going to turn a show that's essentially free for me to do right now because I got free grandfathered in and start paying you $3,000 a year. I am just going to stop using you and I'm going to trash you every opportunity that I have in every space that I can.
I've also read that something similar happened with a video site.
Vimeo,
yeah. And the CEO or someone specifically said, yeah, no, this is part of, we're turning away from individual users and focusing on
corporate users.
So we don't care.
Right. And that fucked over artists because Patreon, I don't know if you knew this, probably still is. Patreon uses Vimeo. That's if you try to do a Patreon video through Patreon, it actually stores to Vimeo. So you had people that had Patreon movies, high quality movies that they put out through Patreon that were on Vimeo. Yeah, that's a very big deal. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Same thing of, you used to have unlimited, but we don't care enough about you to keep upholding this.
Right. And it cost them nothing. And in my case, less than nothing, because all they were doing is just holding the server space, just had the files there. It's not like people were spending a bunch of bandwidth listening to these shows from 10 years ago, but they were stored there. It was just ones and zeros on a hard drive, maybe getting hit once every couple of months by somebody who wanted to go back. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'd be one thing if it was like everybody or hundreds of people. It wasn't. Yeah. There can't have been more than 10 shows on all of Spreaker that were under this old plan that were one of the very first shows that were put from Spreaker onto iHeartRadio. It was just stupid of them. So I'm trashing them at every opportunity because it was just stupid bean counter, pencil pushing bullshit.
Edie has some words about this.
Yes. And as Pist says, yes, I could have. That's the one word synopsis of everything I just said was asshats.
Yeah.
All right. I think it is time to go eat, though.
Yeah, me too. I think it's time for me to make something to eat and then go play Chivalry.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm gonna go try your technique of like turning this way and that way to be able to
I'll practice it too to see what I did. But I know it's like you turn into where the swing is going so that as he starts to swing, he's going to hit sooner because you've turned.
Do you need to turn right? Like if you're swinging, if your windup is to the right and your swing is to the left, do you have to turn it right and then left?
Okay.
Or just right?
Because
then it will do
it's backwards on the video. So for me, this is right and this is left, but in the video, it's the opposite. So the character swings it back to the right, and that means as the swing comes down, you want to turn to the left. That way,
yes, that's what I've been doing, and that doesn't work. But I'm wondering if I actually have to go, like, if I have to move the instead of just swing into where I want the downswing to be, I have to swing and then swing to the wind up and the.
I don't think so. I think just turn left as you hit the button. And
I did. That's what I've been doing, and it's not working. I'm gonna play around with this.
I'll try it too and see what happens.
Okay. All right.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Yes. Well, I'll text you more about Deathbird later, Andrew.
Yes, Deathbird.
Yeah.
See y'all later, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.